Good day, grade 8 students. Today we're going to discuss about addition and subtraction of dissimilar rational algebraic expression. So, dissimilar rational algebraic expression, these are expressions that have different denominators. So, the pairs of expressions below are examples of dissimilar rational algebraic expression. These are dissimilar rational algebraic expressions because the denominators are not equal. Denominators are not equal. Denominators are not equal. Denominators are not the same. Denominators are not equal. Not equal and not equal. That's why we said that this pair of expressions below, these pairs of expressions are examples of dissimilar rational algebraic expression. Okay. Going back. Okay, how do we add or subtract dissimilar rational algebraic expressions? Number 1, find the LCD, the least common denominator. If the denominator are relatively prime, meaning no common factor, multiply the denominators to obtain the LCD. So, if the denominators do not have common factor, it means they are relatively prime. If they are relatively prime, then you just multiply the denominators to get the LCD or the least common denominator. Another, if the denominators have common factor, list its prime factors like the manner of getting the LCM to get the LCD. Okay, we will show that later on. Number 2, change the dissimilar rational algebraic expression. Okay, again, change the dissimilar rational algebraic expression into similar rational algebraic expression using LCD. Number 3, we have proceed as in adding or subtracting similar rational algebraic expression. Okay, so we have here an example. 1/4 and 5/6. So the denominators are 4 and 6. Okay, list the prime factors of 4 and 6. Prime factors of the denominator. Because 4 and 6 has common factor or have common factors, so you have to list all its prime factors. So the prime factors are 2 and 2, when here 2 times 3. So the only common factor here is 2. So we have 2. Then we have 2 again and 3. Okay, so you just list down all. So we have 2, 2, and 3. So here, since they are the same, you just get 1. And then we will multiply whatever left here. So 2 times 2 times 3, that is now your LCD. Another, we have the denominators are 3r and 2r squared. So we have 3r. So 3 times r, these are the factors, while 2r squared, the factors are 2 times r times r. So we have no common, so we'll write it down, 2, and this one since common, so we will get just 1, and we still have r. So multiplying all, we have now 6r squared. That is now your LCD. Okay, next, number 3, we have 6 over 5a squared b and 1 over 10ab. So the denominators are 5a squared and 10ab. So what are the factors? The factors of 5a squared b is just 5 times A times A times B. 2 factors of A. And here, since we have 10AB, we have 5 times 2 times A times B. So common 5, so we only get 1 times 2 times A times A times B. So therefore, the least common denominator is 10A squared B. Number 4. So the denominators are S plus 1 and S. Since the denominators are already prime, so prime factors already, so therefore the LCD, you just multiply S times S plus 1. So since they are already relatively prime, you cannot do it in this way. So therefore, just multiply the denominator to get the LCD. Number 5. We have m plus 5 and m squared minus 25. They have the same, they have common factor. What are the factors of this? So the factor of this is just itself. Okay, and 1. While this one, this could have a factor of m plus 5 and m minus 5. So since they are the same, so we just get 1 and bring down, multiplying, that is now your least common denominator rather. So another we have here, number 6, 3a plus 12 and a plus 4. So factors here, 3a plus 12, they have common factor which is 3. You can factor out 3, and that will become 3a plus 3 times a plus 4. Factor out 3 because 3 is common to both terms. Then a plus 4. Since common, this one is common, so we have 3 times a plus 4. That is now your least common denominator. Okay, here are some illustrative examples. Perform the indicated operations and simplify your answer whenever possible. So here, since the LCD here is 12, okay, from the example earlier, your LCD is 12. So what do you need to multiply in here so that to get 12? So since we have 4 here, and it should be 12. So what number you need to multiply to 4 to make it 12? So we have 3. So we will multiply 3 both denominator and numerator. It should be both. Cannot be only to the denominator. So another, how about in 6? We need to make the denominator 12. So what number do you need to multiply to 6 to make it 12? So you need 2. And 2 times 6 is 12. So it should be multiplied to numerator and denominator. So we have now 1 times 3 is 3, 4 times 3 is 12, 5 times 2 is 10, and 6 times 2 is 12. So since they have the same denominator already, you just copy the denominator, and the same as the concept in addition of similar rational algebraic expression, just add the numerator. Adding the numerator, it becomes 13 over 12. Okay. Then number 2. Okay, on number 2, we have 3r and 2r squared. So our LCD earlier, the LCD of this is 6r squared. 6r squared. So since we have already 3r here, what do you need to make it 6r squared? So you need one more r and 2. So we have 2r. 2r times 3r is 6r squared. So meaning we need 2r. We need to multiply 2r in here to make it 6r squared. Okay, so it should be both numerator and denominator. Another, since you have 2r squared here, you have already r squared there, so you don't need r. So you only need to make it 6, to make it 6r squared. So we only need 3. We only need to multiply 3, both numerator and denominator. So 3 times 2r squared is already 6r squared. 3 times 5 is 15. While here, 2 times 4 is 8 times r. So since the denominators again are the same, just copy the denominator. Then we will combine the numerator or add the numerator. 8r plus 15. So we cannot anymore add or combine further because they are not similar. So 8r and 15 are not similar terms. That's why you cannot combine. So you can just leave it like this. Number 3, we have 5a squared b rather. Okay, 6 over 5a squared b minus 1 over 10ab squared. The least common denominator of this is 10a squared b from the example earlier. So we need to make it 10a squared b. 10a squared b. Since you have already a squared, you have already b, you only need to make 5. You only need to make this 5 into 10. So what do we need to make it 10? What number are you going to multiply to make it 10? We need to multiply that by 2. So we need to multiply both numerator and denominator by 2. Another, since we already have 10, we only need square. So it means we already have b, so we only need a. So that's why we will multiply both numerator and denominator by a. So 6 times 2 is 12. This is already 10a squared b minus 1 times a is a. This is already 10a squared b. So since the denominators are equal, copy or rewrite 10a squared b, then we will subtract numerator, and that is 12 minus a. You cannot anymore further subtract these two because 12 and a are not similar terms. So just leave it like this. Number 5. M over m plus 5 and 3 plus 3m over m squared minus 5. So again, since this is factorable, then we will factor. By the way, the common factor, the least common denominator earlier, we solved earlier, was m squared minus 5. Okay, so our least common denominator there earlier is m plus 5 and m minus 5. That is our least common denominator. So in this one, what do we need to make it m plus 5 and m minus 5? So we need m minus 5. So that's why we will multiply both numerator and denominator by m minus 5. Unlike here, it is already here. So you don't need to multiply anything here because that is already our least common denominator. So do not anymore multiply anything here because that is already our least common denominator. So since the denominators now are the same, we can now combine numerator. So we have m times m minus 5 plus 3m. Okay, combining, so we have multiplying this one, we have m squared minus 5m plus 3m. Then copy the denominator and this will become m squared minus, okay, we will combine this, and this will become minus 2m over m plus 5 and m minus 5. We cannot anymore further reduce this one because you cannot divide m squared minus 2m by the denominator. Okay, that's it. That is for dissimilar or adding or subtracting dissimilar rational algebraic expression. Have a good day ahead. Thank you so much.